My friends, I am really glad to see you. This is a long week and a long period of holidays for us. It's not just Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. It's Sukkot, which comes next. It is Shmini Atzeret and Simchat Torah. In the middle of that, we certainly have the Memorial of 10/7. It's a long month of Jewish observance. And certainly I'm glad that you have chosen to spend your Friday night here. It's a lot of sitting and standing with different prayer books over 28 days or whatever it is, and I appreciate it. This week, we have the shortest Parashat by number of verses in the entire Torah, Parashat Vayelech. It's 30 verses long, and as with much of the book of Dvarim, the book of Deuteronomy, it consists of Moses talking to the Israelites, giving the Israelites instructions. In this situation, he opens the Parsha by saying that he has reached the age of 120 years old, and soon, actually, in fact, I believe that day, in the chronology of the Torah, he will die. And he needs to prepare the Israelites for what happens next. We already know that Joshua is going to be his successor. We've learned that before. But we also know that Joshua will not have the same direct line of communication with Hashem. That he will rely on the teachings that Moses leaves. He will rely on the lessons that Hashem has provided over that 40-year period of wandering in the desert to successfully lead the Israelites forward. Moses, after sort of providing some final instructions, says he is going to write down all of these laws. And the rabbis are a little bit, there's some dispute about whether that means he wrote down the entire Torah or, I suppose, just Hashem's lessons. I find it hard to believe that he could have written down the whole Torah for very many reasons, but perhaps I guess the idea is Hashem provided him with a view into the future after his death as Joshua led the Israelites across the river into the promised land. Anything is possible. Deuteronomy chapter 31, verse 9 says, Moses wrote down this teaching and gave it to the priests, sons of Levi, who carried the ark of Hashem's covenant, and to all the elders of Israel. Nothing shocking here. We already know that the lessons are passed on. We already know that the Torah exists. We already know that the Israelites are going to continue after Moses' death. We might view the Torah as the story of Moses, but the story of the Israelites does not end on Simchat Torah. The story of the Israelites and the story of the Jews and the story of Israel certainly continues. Now, a lot of scholarly and rabbinic debate has gone into what it means to understand that Moses wrote down these laws. Moses wrote down these lessons. How did the people get them? How did the elders or the priests or the parents pass down these laws? Because I think we can safely say it was not a highly literate society. It was a society where not everyone knew how to read. It was a society where even if they did know how to read, how would they write this down on paper to pass it on, transmit it in a big way? So the Talmud tells us that the high priest would every year read the Torah in the temple courtyard. What's interesting about this sort of argument in the Talmud is that Rav Chisda says this also implies that women are allowed to hear it as well. It's not just men. It's not just landowners or the chiefs of the tribes or whatever it is. It's all people of Israel. This sort of gets to the essence of what I believe our religion is about, which is the continual passing on and passing on and passing on of the lessons of the Torah. I learned, from teachers. I learned from my parents. I learned from my grandparents. I suppose when I was born, I had great-grandparents still living as well. They passed on their lessons. My version of Judaism in 2025, that I am teaching and passing on to my children is distinct from when I was born in 1985. But that's okay. Judaism is a religion that is designed to be flexible. It speaks to what we are intended to do as Jews. We are educators. We are supposed to pass these laws on. We're supposed to teach. The role of us as Jewish educators in the sense of passing on to the next generation is that eventually we should be not necessary anymore. The lessons should be passed on. I don't think that my parents are in any way consciously continuing to pass on Jewish lessons to me and my brothers. and my wife and my sister-in-law and my kids. It's the idea that the laws sort of sink in over time. We are in a period now of deep reflection. This 10-day period between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur is designed for us to take stock of our lives and our relationships. It's designed to see where it is that we have fallen short and where it is that others have fallen short with us. And where it is that these lessons that we have tried to pass on have perhaps not stuck exactly where we would like to see people improve, where we ourselves would like to and in fact need to improve. The fact of the matter is, even though the idea of learning the lessons kind of has a period of planned obsolescence, we are always developing. We are always learning. The children of Israel who did not leave Egypt but were born in the desert are going to have a period of learning, and their kids are going to have a period of learning because they get farther and farther away. The same way that we, as we develop, are going to continue to evolve and learn and change and grow, hopefully, for the better. I don't think everybody necessarily goes for the better, but that's the goal. And so as we reflect, today is Friday, we have 5.5 days until Yom Kippur morning services. I want you to really think deeply about the areas in which you would like to see your relationships, either with yourself or with each other, significant others, with your parents or with your siblings, with your grandparents or with your professors, and certainly your relationship with God can continue to develop and continue to evolve and continue to learn the lessons that Moses wrote down all those years ago. Shabbat Shalom. Shana Tova as well.